They say wisdom comes with age, but what they don't always say is that certain lessons, once learned, change you forever. These are the quiet truths passed down from those who've lived, loved, and lost. If you've ever sat beside an older soul and truly listened, you know, some advice doesn't just inform, it transforms. What follows are 10 life lessons gathered from elders who've seen it all. Once you absorb them, you'll never see the world, or yourself, the same way again. Lesson 1. Time is not infinite. Use it with intention. If you spend enough time with people who've lived a long life, they'll often say this quietly, almost like a confession. I didn't realize how quickly it would all pass. And when they say it, it doesn't come from panic, it comes from clarity. Because what most people don't understand when they're younger is that life doesn't announce when the important moments are happening. It just flows quietly, steadily, until one day, the years are behind you. And the question isn't, where did the time go? It's, did I use it well? One of the most profound lessons older adults share is this: time is not just precious, it's irreplaceable. You can recover from lost money, rebuild a broken relationship, or learn a missed skill. But lost time? That never returns. Not in the same form. Not with the same people. Not under the same sky. Ask someone in their 70s or 80s what they regret most, and it's rarely about things they did. It's often the things they didn't do. The walks they skipped because they were busy. The conversations they postponed. The dreams they put off for someday, not realizing that someday is a vanishing point. You don't have to live in fear of the clock, but you do need to live with awareness. That means noticing when your habits, distractions, or routines are robbing you of presence. It means asking yourself, am I filling my days or just passing through them? This doesn't mean every day needs to be extraordinary. Sometimes the most meaningful use of time is quiet and ordinary, a shared cup of tea, a moment of laughter, a handwritten note. But those moments become priceless when you understand their true value. Older generations often carry this wisdom not because someone taught it to them, but because they had to learn it the hard way. They watched loved ones pass. They missed milestones. They realized too late that attention is a currency, and we often spend it without realizing it's finite. So take a moment to look at your life. Not to feel guilt, but to feel clarity. Because once you begin to treat time as the sacred, fleeting treasure that it is, everything changes. You stop waiting for life to start, and you begin truly living. Lesson 2. Let go of what no longer serves you, including the past. As we grow older, something unexpected begins to happen. Our homes, once filled with energy and movement, start to slow down. Shelves collect dust. Closets fill with memories. Drawers hold pieces of who we used to be. At first, we call it stuff. But if you ask someone in their later years, they'll tell you it's not just stuff. It's the past taking up space. And it's heavy. Not just physically, but emotionally. Letting go, especially later in life, isn't just about donating old clothes or tossing outdated gadgets. It's about standing face to face with the reality that some parts of your life are over, and that can be heartbreaking. The books on the shelf remind you of the person you were when you first read them. The suit you haven't worn in decades still carries the echo of a promotion or a wedding toast. The faded photograph in the hallway is more than a picture, it's a doorway to a moment that lives only in memory. This is why older people often say, you don't really declutter your home. You declutter your identity. And it's true. Because every item you let go of, every box, every letter, every keepsake, forces you to say goodbye to a version of yourself. But here's the quiet miracle behind that pain. By saying goodbye to what no longer serves you, you make room for what still can. You don't stop growing just because you age. And you don't lose your worth just because you let go of things. You become lighter, clearer, free. Elders who have gone through this process will tell you it's not about forgetting. It's about releasing. You're not erasing the memory of a loved one when you donate their old furniture. You're not dishonoring your past when you throw away the notes from a job you retired from 20 years ago. What you're doing is making space for peace, for the present, for possibility. Because holding on too tightly to the past can actually weigh down your future. So take this from those who've lived it. Let go. Not because the past didn't matter, but because your next chapter still does. Lesson 3. Relationships are your real wealth. Invest in them. Ask someone in their final years what truly mattered, and they won't talk about bank accounts, promotions, or possessions. They'll talk about people. The ones who stayed. The ones who left. The ones they wish they had loved better. Because as the years stretch behind you, you realize it's not what you built, but who you build it with. You see, time has a way of revealing what's real. Friendships you thought would last forever sometimes fade. People you never expected to count on become your lifeline. And through it all, one truth becomes painfully clear: we need each other. More than we ever thought. Older adults will often say they wish they had made more time for the people who mattered. Not just big celebrations or holidays, but the small, ordinary moments. A phone call, just because. A letter in the mail. A walk together, even if it was short. Because relationships don't thrive on grand gestures. They grow through presence, through being there again and again, in the small ways that say, I see you. I care. I'm here. And it's not just about receiving love. It's about giving it. Especially as you age. Loneliness is a quiet epidemic among older adults, and one of the most powerful antidotes is reaching out. Not waiting for someone to invite you. Not assuming you're no longer needed. But showing up with a warm word, a gentle check-in, or a smile that says you still belong. Invest in people the way you once invested in your career, your home, your ambitions. Because when those things fade, and they all do, what remains are the hands you held, the stories you shared, the laughter that echoed through the years. And here's a powerful truth that elders often whisper with full hearts: you don't need a lot of people to feel rich. You just need a few you can count on. So call that friend. Forgive the mistake. Show up to the family dinner, even if you're tired. Because these are the things that will fill your life long after everything else has passed. Lesson 4. Your body is your true home. Treat it with respect. When you're young, you think your body will always bounce back. You climb stairs without thinking. You carry groceries like they're feathers. You stay up late, skip meals, push through pain, and somehow you still manage. But as you grow older, something shifts. The body that once felt invincible starts to whisper, and then sometimes it starts to shout. Ask any elder and they'll tell you your body is not a machine. It's a home. And it needs care, deep, intentional care. One of the biggest regrets older adults share is that they didn't listen to their body sooner. They ignored the small signs: the stiffness in the morning, the fatigue after a short walk, the weight gain that crept in slowly but steadily. Many say, if I had just paid attention. If I had just moved more, stretched more, rested better, eaten with more care. Because here's the truth: your body keeps score. Every habit adds up. Every skipped walk, every fast meal, every sleepless night. But so does every act of care. Every stretch. Every glass of water. Every moment of stillness and breath. And it's never too late to begin again. You don't need to become an athlete. You don't need a gym membership or a strict routine. What you need is respect for the vessel that has carried you through every season of life. That same body that bore children, built a life, weathered illness and heartbreak. It deserves your gentleness now. Eat in a way that nourishes. Move in ways that preserve strength and mobility. Rest without guilt. Stretch and breathe like you're giving your body a thank you letter. Because in the end, your body is not your enemy. It's not failing you. It's asking for your partnership. And the sooner you listen, the more life you can live, not just in years, but in quality. And older adults will tell you this with full sincerity. You don't realize how precious health is until it starts to slip. But there's always time to slow the slide. To choose care. To honor the only home you'll ever truly live in. Lesson 5. Pride will isolate you, but humility will keep you connected. There comes a point in life when asking for help starts to feel uncomfortable. Maybe it's because you spent decades being the strong one, the provider, the problem solver, the one everyone could lean on. And now, as age begins to change what you can do, something inside you resists the idea of depending on others. You tell yourself, I don't want to be a burden. But in that effort to protect your pride, you risk losing something far greater: connection. Many elders have lived through this quiet battle, the one between independence and isolation. And they'll tell you, looking back, pride can become a cage. You stop asking. You stop inviting. You stop admitting that some things have become harder than they used to be. And slowly, the people who love you the most feel pushed away. Not because they don't care, but because you've left no door open for them to come in. Humility, on the other hand, is not weakness. It's wisdom. It says, I know who I am. I know what I need. And I trust you enough to let you show up for me. When you open that space, something beautiful happens. Your relationships deepen. Your children feel honored. Your friends feel useful. And you no longer carry the quiet, heavy burden of pretending everything is fine when it's not. One of the most powerful lessons from older generations is this. Let people help you. Not because you can't survive on your own, but because you were never meant to. Life is not a solo act. It's a shared journey. And there is strength, not shame, in sharing the load. Whether it's letting someone carry your groceries, teach you a new skill, or simply listen when you're struggling, these moments of surrender are actually acts of trust, of love, of connection. You don't lose dignity by accepting help. You gain companionship. So if you find yourself struggling, remember, asking for support doesn't make you less. It makes you human. Lesson 6. Adaptability is the secret to staying young. One of the quietest traps of aging is the belief that we have to stay the same. The same habits, the same routines, the same opinions. It feels safe, doesn't it? Familiar. Predictable. But here's the thing, life never stops changing. And if we stop changing with it, we don't stay the same, we start to fade. Ask someone in their 70s, 80s, or beyond what's helped them stay engaged, joyful, and curious. More often than not, they'll say, I learned how to adapt. Adaptability is not about giving up who you are. It's about allowing yourself to evolve. It's what keeps the mind sharp, the heart open, and the spirit alive. It's the difference between resisting change and growing through it. Because the truth is, change will come whether we like it or not. Our bodies will change. Our relationships will shift. The world around us will move forward, faster than we expect. And in those moments, we have two choices: cling to what was or open ourselves to what could be. It might be learning how to use a new piece of technology just to stay connected with your grandchildren. It might be trying a new kind of food, walking a new path in your neighborhood, or exploring a topic you never paid attention to before. These aren't just new experiences, they're acts of resilience. Older adults who thrive are not the ones who avoid change. They're the ones who meet it with curiosity, who ask questions, who listen, who say, maybe I don't know everything, and maybe that's a good thing. When you become adaptable, life doesn't shrink. It expands. It offers you new friendships, new understandings, even new identities you never saw coming. So if you've been telling yourself, I'm too old to change, pause for a moment. Because every day you wake up is proof that you still have time to grow. And the more flexible you become in mind and heart, the more youthful you remain, no matter what the calendar says. Lesson 7. Emotional clutter can be heavier than physical clutter. We often talk about decluttering our homes, clearing out the closets, donating unused things, creating more space to breathe. But ask someone who has lived through many decades, and they'll quietly reveal another kind of clutter. The kind you can't see but you carry everywhere. Emotional clutter. Old resentments. Unspoken words. Regrets that wake you up at night. Guilt you never fully put down. These are the invisible weights that build up over a lifetime. And unless we learn to release them, they begin to take more space than anything in our attic ever could. Older adults will tell you, the most liberating moments in their later years weren't about reorganizing a room. They were about forgiving someone who never apologized, letting go of an old dream that no longer fits the life they're living, or even learning to forgive themselves for choices made long ago. Because holding on to emotional pain doesn't protect us. It only prevents us from joy, from closeness, from presence. Bitterness is like a locked drawer in the mind. You forget what's inside, but it still takes up space. The people who age with grace aren't necessarily the ones who had perfect lives. They're the ones who did the hard work of clearing out what no longer served their peace. They chose to soften rather than harden. They chose peace over pride. So how do you begin? Start by acknowledging what you've been carrying. Speak it, write it down, pray about it, whatever helps you give it shape. And then gently ask yourself, do I still need to hold this? Is it helping me or hurting me? Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means freeing. And when you begin to release that inner weight, something remarkable happens. You feel lighter, not just in spirit, but in body. The world feels more open. Relationships become easier. And suddenly there's room inside you, not just for memories, but for new beginnings. Lesson 8. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. It rarely comes. If there's one message that echoes through the voices of older adults, it's this: don't wait. Don't wait until you feel ready. Don't wait until everything lines up. Don't wait for the perfect moment, because more often than not, it never arrives. Many people spend their lives preparing, saving the good dishes for special occasions, putting off travel until someday, holding back words of love or forgiveness because the timing doesn't feel quite right. But here's what elders know: life doesn't come with a script. The best moments often unfold in the messy, unplanned spaces. They'll tell you how they waited too long to take that trip, how they missed the chance to say what needed to be said, how they thought they had more time. And when the window closed, what remained was not peace but regret. Because waiting for perfect means letting real life pass you by. Those who've lived through decades know that meaning isn't found in flawless conditions. It's found in presence. A spontaneous dinner with a friend. A rainy walk that ends in laughter. A trembling voice saying "I love you" when it's needed most. The truth is, there is no such thing as a perfect moment. There is only now and your willingness to step into it with courage. So wear the outfit you've been saving. Start the project that scares you. Take the photo, say the words, light the candle. Life isn't waiting for you to be perfect. It's waiting for you to participate. And when you look back, years from now, you'll realize the most treasured memories were never carefully arranged. They were lived. The older you get, the more you understand, the clock doesn't stop. So don't keep putting your joy on hold. Take the moment you have. Make it count. That's what it means to truly live. Lesson 9. What you say to yourself matters more than you think. If there's one quiet truth that older adults wish they had learned earlier, it's this: the way you speak to yourself becomes the way you experience your life. Not just once in a while, but every single day. When you're young, your inner voice often goes unnoticed. It runs in the background, shaping how you feel, what you believe you can do, and even how you carry your body through the world. But as you age and the world becomes quieter, and the mirrors show more than just your reflection, that voice becomes louder. And for many, it becomes harsh. You might find yourself saying things like, "I can't do that anymore, I look terrible," or "I'm too old for this." But here's what elders who've done the inner work will tell you. Age doesn't have to mean self-criticism. It can mean self-compassion. It can mean choosing a new language for how you speak to yourself. Because that voice inside you, it listens. It shapes your confidence, your hope, your willingness to try. And over time, those words either build you up or quietly wear you down. Some of the most vibrant older adults are not the ones with the best health or the most resources. They're the ones who learn to be kind to themselves. They wake up and greet the mirror with grace. They say, "This body has carried me through so much." They choose thoughts that heal, not hurt. And it's not about blind positivity. It's about truth. The truth that your worth is not defined by how much you produce or how young you look. It's defined by your presence, your heart, your story. So notice the words you use when you talk to yourself. Would you say them to someone you love? If not, change them. Replace "I can't" with "I'll try." Replace "I'm too old" with "I'm still learning." Because the most powerful relationship you'll ever have is with yourself. And it's never too late to make it a kind one. Lesson 10. Your legacy is not what you leave behind, it's how you made people feel. Toward the end of life, something shifts. The need to impress fades. The trophies gather dust. The titles don't matter so much anymore. And in the quiet of reflection, one question rises above all the rest. How did I make people feel while I was here? Ask someone in their 80s or 90s what they're most proud of, and it's rarely a career milestone or financial achievement. It's the time they made someone feel seen. It's the grandchild who said, "You always made me feel safe." It's the neighbor who remembers their kindness, the friend who never forgot their laughter, the stranger who was met with unexpected warmth. Because your true legacy isn't something carved on a headstone or listed in a will. It lives in hearts. It echoes in memories. It's the emotional fingerprints you leave behind on everyone you meet. Elders often speak about this with a mix of joy and sorrow, joy for the love they gave, and sorrow for the chances they missed. The unreturned phone calls. The apologies they waited too long to give. The forgiveness they withheld. And if they could go back, most say they would have loved louder, forgiven faster, and made sure the people in their lives knew just how much they mattered. You see, we tend to overestimate the importance of things and underestimate the power of presence. But it's the small gestures, a warm meal, a patient ear, a gentle word, that leave the deepest mark. Your story is being written not just in what you do, but in how you live. And right now, in this very moment, you have the power to shape that legacy. If this message resonated with you, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Your support helps us reach more people who are looking for thoughtful, uplifting content on aging and personal growth.